Hey, good morning. On today's episode of Tyler's Talk, why I'm always right and you should listen to me. You know, all kidding aside, why should you listen to me? Why should you spend your hard-earned money to take a class from me? Whether it's a 2-hour seminar, a demonstration for less lethal options, all the way up to a 2-day $500 class on performance and diagnostic shooting. That's a legit question, and you deserve to know. I mean, everybody deserves to know exactly what they're getting for their hard-earned money. So let's take a deep dive into the creation of my development and synergy, because it's more than just me. We're going to have to start way back, almost 20 years ago. Lord have mercy. Almost 20 years ago, I was a freshman in high school, and I was in Algebra 1, killing my assignments. I'm talking 100%, all of it, and doing it quickly. My teacher was like, you got something going on there. As soon as you get done with your stuff, start helping me help the other kids with their assignments. I've never helped kids. I've never done any tutoring. So, fine, whatever. I got voluntold into doing this. And so I did. So I learned how to help others with math. So I became a math tutor for 6 years, actually. 4 in high school and 2 in college. I even did a little bit of saxophone tutoring. Yeah, I was that guy. I was a math and band nerd. Imagine how much I got bullied. And taught a little bit on the saxophone as well. And anyway, so yeah, that was my very first intro into teaching and mentoring. Signed up for the Army at 17 as an MP, field MP, by the way, 114th in Flowers, Mississippi. Didn't do anything noteworthy. Busted up my leg pretty good in AIT and medboarded out. So outside of the initial training, nothing worth mentioning. So went to college, learned a lot of good stuff, took some social classes like public speaking, marriage and family, sociology, things like that. I actually went for a major in mechanical engineering, but dropped out like an idiot. But while I was in college, I actually did a little bit of bouncing and private security work at the bars and stuff. Worked for campus police at State for a while. Anyway, drop out like an idiot, go work on towboats because I was chasing money. Again, just being a stupid kid, right? But I met a guy on the boat I got assigned to eventually called, his name was, we call him Bull. He's a Marine, and he was our captain. And he made me first mate and took me under his wing and taught me a lot about leadership. He was a leader in the Marines, and he taught me everything he knew. And it was super beneficial. So that was my first intro into leadership. So I get tired of doing that because I'm blinding my right eye. And the Coast Guard was like, hey, you can never do anything beyond the deck. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that the rest of my life. That sucks. About this time, and then I go to a gun store, a local gun store, become the gun manager, and learn the ins and outs of ordering guns, different guns, where they come from, distributors, how to do 4473s. Yeah, it was good, a lot of good learning there. I didn't spend much time there because retailers no money in it, especially in a small town. So went back to the oil field, into an oil refinery to make more money. But it was about that time I actually started appendix carrying, believe it or not. So 2013-ish was when appendix got popular for me. Anyway, before that, I was carrying a Glock 26 with a clip draw attached to the slide with nothing covering the trigger because I was an idiot, didn't know anything back then. So, my mom was an NBN agent, undercover narc agent, and local law enforcement as well. And then my dad died in the line of duty. He was a 17-year cop. Did detective investigations as well in 2009. So, while I was at the end of working at a gun store, that was about the time, my mom started dating a guy named Rodney May. This is a few years after my dad died. And Rodney May, for those who don't know, has trained everybody from local SWAT dudes to NSW teams, SF guys, FBI HRTs, you name it. He's did it. He was Grandmaster in USPSA. Well, it still is. Once you make Grandmaster, you don't lose it. Unless you're a cheater. I'm not going to name names. But anyway, so I took every class I could from him. Every one of them. Still do if I can. And then I started helping him AI. So I was an assistant instructor for him. Got to travel around, do some awesome things. I helped him build shoot houses. Helped him run sims. I've got to watch people do explosive breaching. Like, just cool stuff. Right? And so I was like, I would love to do this. Well, my mom had already been doing enhanced carry classes for the state. She was also a well-armed woman instructor. So I was like, well, what are my options? Well, I got to get a USCCA certification or a NRA certification. So I sought out a USCCA counselor, and his name was Cliff Cargill in Central Mississippi. So I got my USCCA certification through him, did the 2-day deal, and just started doing enhanced carry classes. I had already been in AI and learned a bunch of stuff by this time. So I was just doing the bare minimum permit class. For Mississippi, you don't need a permit to carry, but you got to have the class to do the enhanced endorsement, which alleviates a lot of the restrictions if you were to not have it. So, and at this time, I'd already started making holsters as well, inside and outside the waistband, because either one, nobody made what I wanted, or two, they wanted way too much money for it, and I'm a poor redneck. It's like, I'm gonna make my own stuff anyway. I do almost all my own gun work and everything. So by the time I had started teaching just the fundamental basic classes, I already had a huge exposure to military training, law enforcement training, different guns, how they're bought, all the minutia behind it, and even making holsters. So I felt like I had a lot to offer, like a really holistic approach. I mean, I thought I did back then. So I've learned just tenfold the amount of more. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so wasn't long after that, I met a guy named Jason Anderson, or Wes Sutterfield, firstly. He was a paramedic forever, it seems like, and has saved more lives than I can count. So he dreamed up a really awesome trauma med kit that we carry, and I just help promote him and do medical classes with him. So I've done a lot of medical and trauma training with him as well. Not long after, I met a guy named Jason Anderson, and he really liked my approach to things. He took a class, a 2-gun class, and all together we dreamed up Synergy Shooting Solutions, because it's a holistic approach to training. All right, not just draw, gun, shoot. Like it's a holistic ordeal. And I had created at this point a mild 2-gun curriculum, defensive and performance curriculum. So 3 different classes beyond the permit thing. Just creating off of what I had learned. By this time, I think I'd also taken 2 classes from Frank Proctor, rifle and pistol. Then I got into kid mentorship, faith-based. This actually is not long after I got saved. I was baptized in the fall of 2017. So like a lot of things were happening between like 2016 and 2020. A lot. I had just an extreme amount of growth. 2020 was beginning of 20 is when I created Synergy. It's also when COVID happened. But anyway, so yeah, like just constantly honing my skills of being a relator, communication, and all that. Went and got my RO certification from the NROI, National Range Officer Institute, so I could start being an RO for competitions. At this point, I was shooting a competition every once in a while, and then just helping my mom, because my mom and Rodney were shooting competitions big time, because he was a GM and my mom just loves that stuff. Started getting into that as well more heavily, and then I've helped with PRS matches down at Core and K&M. Started learning about precision rifle stuff. Just again, getting out of my comfort zone of just pistol and some carbine work and just learning everything I can. Got to meet some industry people. Been meeting more industry people. Let's see. Then I became the director of safety and security for my church. They didn't have hardly anything when I got into it, so I created all their communication stuff. I got all their radios squared away. Built a safe room for all that, or I say built, just used a spare room to house all that. Did their training, their intro training, and I created a successor to take my place. I'm done with that. I did that for 2 years. I actually stepped down this year, believe it or not, and I'll tell you why. It's actually to get into a new program, so I can spend time doing more stuff. So, man, I've taught. I've taught. I've trained with other big names such as Riley Bowman. Amazing class. Big on the mental and vision side of things. If you hit a plateau in your shooting, I would seek out training like that, like him and Tim Herron and the really high level diagnostics people, which is who I aspire to be honest with you. Let's see. Between all that kids mentorship and going on counselor building trips and things like that, and trying to just be the best version of I can of myself so I can create better people. I also did corporate management. I was a manager for a largest bank in the Southeast. Learned a crud ton about leadership and corporate management, H&R, hiring and firing, you name it, ins and out on all that. Oh, well, goodness gracious. And throughout all this, I'm still doing like off and on security work. I'm still doing security work to this day in South and West Jackson. And so if you know anything about that, you understand the amount of crack kids and crazy people I got to deal with all the time. So now I'm also a chief range officer. I got that this year. At the end of last year, beginning of this year, I took the class from Raleigh, and I was thinking, what can I do more than just become a better shooter? Like, how do I become a better instructor, a better coach, a better mentor, a better everything? Well, a friend of mine, Chris Bean, was like, I got the answer for you. And I knew who John Correa was with active self-protection. I've watched his videos, and like, I knew who he was. I knew how popular he was and the good work he does. But I had no idea it was just more than his YouTube videos. Like, I didn't know he did more than that. He's like, yeah. So Chris was like, yeah, we got this active self-protection instructor certification. Here's how you apply. So you have to be invited, then you have to apply, then you have to be reviewed and submit shooting scores, and then accepted in. It's a 6-month program. And when I tell you that you talking about the most amount of growth you could ever have in 6 months. Colleges and universities aside, personal growth, like, this is it. This is it. It's actually, I would put this above college and universities. I got to meet some of the most amazing people. I got to learn some of the most awesome things about adult learning. We had book assignments. We had writing assignments. My dog chewed off the front of like 3 of my books. But Telling Ain't Training is like 280 pages of adult learning science, mental management science. Like I said, we had it was freaking awesome. The in-person portion in Sioux Falls was amazing. Met amazing friends. I made a brother, Nikos. Looking at you, brother. I made a family, and it's awesome. Absolutely freaking awesome. The simplest way to put it is I am the best version of me thus far because of that. I don't know what in the world my next step is going to be, but I guarantee you, whatever else I learn in life will not have the payoff and the dividends that this program did. And I'm not trying to sell it because I don't get any kickbacks on this. That's how impactful it was for me. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank the ASPIC crew, Miss Carrie, Mr. Chris, John, the Wideners. Y'all are just awesome. The whole cohort 5. Thank y'all for accepting me into the family. I owe y'all everything. I really do. From this moment on, my success is y'all's success. Seriously. So, without further ado, that's me in a nutshell. That's why I've created what I've created and why I'm so passionate about it. I've created such a holistic approach because of all of my experiences as a private citizen and all the training I've done. I'm never going to stop. I got Tim Herring coming up in February. Saber, stop click-clacking. That's my Saber girl. and Ed Monk active shooter certification in April, and just tons of stuff. Right, I've got more level 2 competitions to help run since I'm a chief range officer. Being a better student of my sport, I've been putting on seminars. I got a seminar to go teach tonight. I'm actually going to be on the radio next Wednesday trying to spread the good word of self-defense protection and everybody's options. I've been through all of the USCCA Protector Academy. And look, if all you ever do, if you're just a regular citizen that doesn't want to pack a big full-size gun every day of your life, I understand. I really do, because I don't like carrying a big gun. I carry a Glock 48 wherever it's at. Sometimes I carry a Glock 19 with a Streamlight TLR7 on it. But usually it's a Glock 48. Anyway, so that's me. That's why I teach what I teach. That's why I'm so passionate about it. It's my thing. It's what burns in my soul. I don't have a wife or kids. I got a girlfriend. She's amazing. She has a holistic approach of everything like I do. So it's awesome. And along the way, I've been blessed to create some partnerships. Case in point, I'm going to read off a list because I'll forget them all. Southern Ordnance, my buddy Hunter Gardner in Rankin County, serving the people with their pew needs and building ARs and stuff for them. Let's see, Boondocks, thank y'all for letting me teach out there and work out there and help the people in the pro shop. Let's see, we got Zev. I got the old Zev components in my Glock here. This is a 115-ish thousand round Glock. I kid you not. The frame, slide, and locking block are all factory. Shot this thing in production class for 8 years and then put through a dot on it 2 years ago and have shot it since then. My buddy Jason Ferris of Hot Iron Gunworks, if you need your grip stippled, look no further. He has a great turnaround time and he does amazing work. I butchered this frame and he fixed it for me. All right. Like if you give him a raw frame and let him do his thing, it looks way better than this. This is a fixed job and it still looks amazing. So anyway, let's see what else we got. We got American Defense Manufacturing produces the finest rifles you could ever, finest ARs, especially if you want a right side bolt release and bolt catch. That's the best design I've ever come across. I'm blind in right eye, so I actually shoot everything left-handed. So, I'm sorry, I know that's loud, the microphone. They got amazing mounts. They got all your solutions for AR. Great people. All of these partnerships I have, because the people are great and they produce a great product and they're really serving their customer base to the best of their ability. So we got Free International Anti-Human Trafficking Operations, Say Something School Assembly. So if you're part of a school district and you want a seminar presented to your kids, the entire school, on anti-bullying, anti-human trafficking, suicide awareness, things like that, look up Say Something School Assemblies. All right, it's a nonprofit, and they do amazing work, travel the country helping kids. Vertx with the clothing, Mississippi Man, my buddy Andrew up in Gluckstadt, Mississippi, helping us look good. Can't really, helping me as best as I can, best as he can. On Duty Unlimited, serving our law enforcement, building police cars all over the Southeast. Look, and everybody else that I haven't mentioned, thank y'all so much for believing in me. I wouldn't be who I am today without the support of all my friends, all my family. Thank y'all so much. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank y'all. Keep it up. Seriously, y'all guys that want to be instructors, don't stop. People that want to be the best protectors and defenders of themselves and families, don't stop. Find that fuel, find that motivation. Let me know how I can help in any type of way. If you're on a journey of being a defender or an instructor, hit me up. I'd love to help you. I'll give you some advice and guidance the best I can. So, yeah, don't stop trying to be an asset. All right? This world's got too many liabilities. Don't be a liability. Hit me up with some questions if you got any. Thank y'all for listening to this old Ted Tyler talk. Hope y'all have an awesome day.